Welcome to industrial timber, where firewood production, homemade engineering, hydraulic splitters, roaring chippers, PTO-driven saws, and high-output wood processing systems come together in the real world. This cone-shaped splitter is a smart piece of practical engineering. Mounted on a table, it keeps the operator upright and reduces the constant bending that makes firewood work exhausting. Instead of fighting every log on the ground, the setup brings the work to a better height. It is compact, simple, and ergonomically clever. For small-scale wood processing, that blend of safety, comfort, and efficiency makes a lot of sense. Then the Morbark 4036 comes in with that deep cat engine sound, and suddenly the whole scene changes. This is not a small chipper nibbling at branches. This is a heavy industrial machine devouring birch trees like they are nothing. With a massive infeed opening and serious pulling force, it swallows whole trees and turns tons of material into chips at frightening speed. 32 tons gone in about 22 minutes tells you everything. At nearly 24 tons itself, this machine is not playing around. It is built for production. Splitting wood with an axe always looks easier than it really is. It takes strength, timing, and precision with every swing. Machines can remove the hardest labor, but there is still something satisfying about doing it the old-school way. You feel the control directly. You see the wood split under your own force. But even the best lumberjack can miss, and one bad swing is enough to remind everyone that power without caution is a problem. Then comes a test setup that clearly still needs refinement. Building a similar machine with a cutter blade sounds good on paper, but real material exposes weak points fast. If the wood does not split properly and the machine lacks enough strength, the result will always fall short. The test run may not look perfect, but that is how practical engineering works. First versions reveal the flaws, better versions solve them. Next, the three-phase electric splitter steps in with serious industrial energy. This kind of machine turns a massive log into firewood with almost effortless movement. It cuts through the material like the wood is softer than it actually is. The power, accuracy, and clean splitting action make it look almost unreal. It feels like replacing the lumberjack's axe with controlled electric force. Then the DIY chipper appears, and it is moving at a speed that looks almost reckless. Fast machines are satisfying to watch, but once spinning blades are involved, speed becomes something that needs respect. A machine like this may look exciting, but one loose part, one bad feed angle, or one careless move could turn efficiency into danger fast. Sometimes the smarter move is not more gasoline, it is better control. A close call follows, and honestly, his guardian angel must have been working overtime. Moments like that show how quickly wood processing can go from routine to dangerous. 1 second the job looks normal. The next, everyone realizes how close it came to going wrong. Then the SPAL Fix K Vario shows what modern firewood processing is supposed to look like. A log that looks intimidating gets turned into neat, even pieces in seconds. Whether powered by PTO, diesel, or electricity, the system handles large logs with confidence and keeps the workflow moving. Machines like this are built for operators who want production, not wasted motion. Next, a vertical hydraulic splitter takes on a big knotted stump. Most people would look at that twisted wood and assume it will fight back all day. But with hydraulic pressure, the stump tears apart in a controlled way. It is not magic. It is real force applied in the right direction. That is why hydraulic splitters remain so effective on difficult material. Then creativity takes a strange turn with a chainsaw trombone and custom exhaust. It looks like something from a DIY dream, part tool and part experiment. Maybe it is not the most practical build in the world, but it proves one thing clearly. People who work with machines rarely stop modifying them. Sometimes the result is useful. Sometimes it is just wild. Drop a 1-inch in the comments if this kind of machinery actually blew your mind. Your support helps push more industrial timber builds, firewood systems, and heavy wood processing machines onto the channel. Subscribe to Industrial Timber if you want more equipment like this. Then the hydro wood splitter shows a more professional approach. Running from a cardan-driven system, it is automatic, reliable, and designed for heavy-duty work. The engineering is straightforward. Reduce effort, increase output, and keep the cycle consistent. That is exactly why professional operators prefer systems that can work all day without constant adjustment. The circular saw powered by the Gray Fergie's PTO is another solid example of old machinery still earning its place. Power comes straight from the tractor's engine, transferring energy smoothly into the blade. The setup is tough, direct, and built for hard wood. It may not look modern, but it does the job with reliable mechanical honesty. Then the Eagle and WP3000 brings firewood production into a more flexible category. Smart feed design, automatic log handling, and 15.7 tons of splitting force make it a practical system for serious work. Being able to mount it on an excavator or tractor adds real versatility. Around $10,000 is not cheap, but for the output and flexibility, it becomes a serious option for anyone trying to scale firewood production. Next comes Binderberger's high-efficiency firewood setup, and this is where the workflow starts looking fully industrial. A streamlined feeding system moves material into the SSP 520 Pro splitter, where 30 tons of hydraulic force takes over. Digital controls give the operator precise command. Conveyors keep the material moving, and automated packaging completes the process. For businesses that want high output with lower labor demand, this is exactly the direction firewood production is going. There is still a certain charm in older splitters. If you know how to work smart, keep your grip low, and respect the blade path, these machines can still be dependable. They were not built to look fancy. They were built to work. That older generation of equipment has a kind of mechanical honesty that modern machines sometimes lack. Then Mother Nature decides to redesign a bedroom without asking anyone. A tree through a house is never just property damage. It is a reminder that timber carries serious weight even after it stops standing. Hopefully everyone is safe, because when a trunk enters a building, the cleanup is only part of the problem. Firewood businesses need to look closely at the Vepec packer, producing around 120 bags an hour, keeping the wood clean, reducing dust, and running on simple 230-volt power makes it a practical upgrade for packaging operations. Less manual loading, cleaner output, and faster bagging mean more profit and less wasted labor. For anyone selling firewood at scale, that kind of machine can change the whole workflow. Then another cone splitter shows why simple designs still matter. The sharp tip makes logs open with surprisingly little effort, and the overload clutch idea is a smart protection point. If the tractor starts struggling, that clutch between the drive shaft and the cone can protect the machine from damage. Sometimes the best improvement is not more power. It is a small safety feature that saves the whole drivetrain. The layered splitter approach is also impressive. Instead of trying to break the entire log at once, it takes the material apart bit by bit. That reduces stress on the machine and makes even large 2-4-inch logs easier to handle. Less strain, faster results, and better control. That is smart design in action. When resources are limited, creativity has to do the work. Turning an old saw blade into a functioning electric saw is not fancy, but it proves a point. Real innovation often comes from solving problems with whatever is available. The result may look rough, but if it cuts safely and does the job, it earns respect. The Ottawa wood saw is another machine that feels almost like a mechanical artwork. It does not operate like a regular saw. The motion has a rhythm to it, almost like a cyclist driving the cut. Anyone who thinks this is just an ordinary machine is missing the craftsmanship behind the mechanism. Finally, the homemade firewood splitter with the hydraulic piston system shows a simple but effective cycle. The piston guides the saw downward, the limit switch triggers at the right point, and the spring resets the saw for the next cut. It is not overly complicated, but it is smart. That is the kind of mechanism that keeps production moving without unnecessary parts or wasted motion.